Joe Azalina, I am Derek Ano. Thank you for taking time out of your day to spend some time with us. Stop what you're doing. If you're watching on YouTube, right below us, there's a subscribe button. Feel free to click on the subscribe button. It helps us out as well. But if you're listening, that's great too. I hope you're enjoying listening to our voices on all major podcast platforms. So, Joe, today we continue with talking about our timeout tournament challenge, as well as overviewing the round of 32.
On this day last week, we were getting ready for the tournament, and now we are going into the round of 16, which is exciting stuff. We're going to recap the round of 32 for the Sunday, Monday games, and we're just going to delve into a little bit of Sweet 16 action that we think maybe a couple teams to watch, a couple teams that could be on upset alert, possibly, shall we say. And just, again, this is a great time. I can't stop smiling about March Madness and the baseball season. So both make me so happy. So, Derek, I'm going to kick it back to you because we have to get this going. Let's give our timeout listeners what they want to hear.
And everything's been going very smoothly. I mean, the fact that we haven't heard anything about any guys getting sick or whatnot, it's going great. So
except
glad
for VCU.
To hear. Well, yeah, they were the only team who had to unfortunately forfeit. But looking at the timeout tournament, again, we thank everyone who got involved. I'm not going to go through everything, the rules and everything again. If you missed last video talking about the overview of how everything went down in the first round, feel free to go check that one out. But I'm just going to run through who is currently in the top 10. I mean, I guess I'll stop at 9 because there's a bunch of 10s that are tied, but I'll go through the top 9 then, as well as their max score that they could potentially get if it all goes right for them. Still in first place is Joe Tyko 3, Jotyko. He has a total score right now of 410, potential max score of 1530, and I will say he picked Gonzaga to win. SO Mac 1 is currently at 390. Max of 1470 also picked Gonzaga to win. Tom _ LVRE is at 390 as well. Max score also of 1470, but he has Houston winning. Ryan P. Fenning 1 is in fourth place at 380. Max score of 1500. Gonzaga winning. Ans Fata 1 is at 370 points, potential of 1450, also has Gonzaga winning. Matt Ervelino 1 is tied for fifth place at 370, 1330 max left, also pick Gonzaga. B. McGee 2 is at 370 as well, 1330 max, Baylor winning. Now these two, I will say they're in the top 9, but unfortunately probably don't have much of a chance. So long as someone picks the champion correctly. But Jarrett May 1 has also 370, max of 890, but they had Illinois winning, as well as Charles 536081. Current score of 370, but a max of only 450. And they also had Illinois winning. So very close up top there still. I believe the round of 16 will give you 40 points for each correct that you have right. And Elite 8 will be 80 points. And then Final Four is 160. National champion is 320. So if you get the national champion, you're in pretty good shape. But we will say we will not be coming back to you until after the Elite 8 is done, because this coming what is it? Saturday and Sunday, correct? Joe, is the Sweet 16, and then Monday and Tuesday is the Elite 8, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm not sure. But they're 4 days in a row. So then we'll be coming to you next week previewing the Final Four and letting everyone know. We should be pretty well set to know who's has a pretty good chance and who's pretty much out of it. But best of luck with everyone. We hope we hope you've been at least enjoying it a little more, maybe following your bracket, especially if you don't get involved in brackets. But Joe, so what do the teams look like now in the final 16? I know we looked at the conferences that are doing well as far as the end of the first round, but at the end with the final 16, how are the conferences looking now?
Yes, Derek, and just so you know, you were right the first time on what you said. It's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Okay.
So just so you know. The Big Ten has Michigan, Derek. The Michigan Wolverines are the lone team in the Big Ten. Everybody else
nine, right? Started with 9.
Out of 9. And Illinois is man, it's crazy. I don't know if you call them overrated, the conference, or just that teams just got hot at the right times. I mean, I don't know. I guess we're going to see next year to see how the Big Ten comes out. Big 12 only has one. That's the Baylor Bears. They're the only one in the Big 12.
Wow.
So, and they're a big, and look at that, the 2 number 1 seeds back to back. ACC, the Syracuse Orange, who you would think that would not be there, but they're there. Jim Boeheim, the 11 seed, looking to knock off Houston, which could be a huge upset. And then the Florida State Seminoles, who represent the ACC also. So they have 2.
Yep.
The Big East, well, the Villanova Wildcats and Jay Wright. I had a feeling if they got past Winthrop, they could be dangerous, and they're starting to become dangerous. A big matchup with Baylor coming up. And the Creighton Blue Jays, who have a chance to knock off Gonzaga, is the second team in the Big East. So it's Villanova and Creighton in the Big East. The Pac-12, Derek, is where the tournament is lying. The Oregon State Beavers, one of the hottest teams in the tournament. The USC Trojans, also a very, very hot team. The UCLA Bruins from the play-in game.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very on fire. And the Oregon Ducks. I joked around about it, the jerseys and all, but they're playing good basketball. So 4 teams from the Pac-12.
So it's the Pac-12, huh?
It looks like it's the Pac-12 because the SEC only has Arkansas and Alabama, but Alabama, I mean, they're 2 really good teams, but they only have 2. So that's what I got here from
very interesting. Because the Big Ten was really the team everyone was saying, oh, if there was Illinois, a matchup you weren't sure of, go with the Big Ten team.
Yeah, right. It didn't work out.
Unfortunately, one of the big Pac-12 teams is definitely going to go down because they play each other in the one game this week. So let's just run real quick. Same deal. We'll run through the scores of the round of 32 and give you a couple key contributors to the games. Let's start. Again, we're going to start up in the West with the number 1 seeded Gonzaga against the number 8 seed Oklahoma, who won their first round game. That one was, I mean, I wouldn't say Oklahoma kept it very close, but it was decently close throughout the whole game. But unfortunately, Oklahoma didn't just have enough to keep up with Gonzaga. Austin Reeves was once again the big scorer for Oklahoma, 27 points. And Alondes Williams off the bench, he had 26 minutes and 15 points and 2 rebounds for Oklahoma. For Gonzaga, Drew Timme was the one with the big game this time around, 30 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. Corey Kispert had 4 threes, 4 of 8 from 3, 16 points, 3 rebounds. And Jalen Suggs had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. It's going to be tough to beat those 3 moving forward, Joe. And then they will be playing either the winner of the number 5 seed Creighton or the number 13 seed Ohio, who upset Virginia. And it turned out to be the Creighton Blue Jays who won 72-58. I don't know if I mentioned the Gonzaga score, 87-71. For Ohio, their best player, Jason Preston, was pretty much shut down. He only had 4 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, but he shot 1 of 10 from the field. So not a good day when your best player doesn't play very well, as well as Dwight Wilson III had 12 points and 9 rebounds. For Creighton, Marcus Zagorowski had 20 points and 3 rebounds, 4 of 7 from 3. And Christian Bishop, forward, had 12 points and 15 rebounds. So Gonzaga and Creighton will play in the round of 16.
And that brings us to a Pac-12 Big 12 matchup, which I thought was going to be a better game, but the USC Trojans, the number 6 seed, taking on the Kansas Jayhawks, the number 3 seed. USC won 85-51. And when I got up that morning, Derek, on it must have been Monday or Tuesday, I just remember saying to myself, "Oh Lord, that's a lot of points." So that's what I was thinking. Kansas's Marcus Garrett, the senior guard, had 15 points and 6 rebounds. For USC, we really have mentioned the name Mobley a lot, but this time it's the younger Mobley. It's Isaiah Mobley, and he had only a sophomore forward at 17 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. The Trojans are really good. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think. And now we're going to see on who they play. And it was another matchup of actually a Pac-12 Big Ten this time, and it was the Iowa Hawkeyes, the number 2 seed, versus the number 7 Oregon Ducks. And Oregon got the best of the 2 seed in Iowa, 95-80. Good job by Oregon. Iowa led by Luke Garza, senior center, 36 points, 9 rebounds, ho-hum. He'll be an NBA player. The Oregon Ducks, Chris Duarte, senior guard, 23 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds. And LJ Figueroa, senior guard, 21 points. Oregon, it seems like they're the 2 guys that have to score for them. Duarte and Figueroa have to score for Oregon. And we'll see what I say about the game that's coming up later between the Trojans and the Ducks, which reminds me of a Pac-12 football matchup, Derek.
Yeah. That'll bring us down to the East region, where the number 1 seeded Michigan Wolverines took on the 8 seed LSU in what was actually a very good game. I got to see most of that. That was 42-43 at halftime. Ended up Michigan won it 86-78. Amazing game from Cameron Thomas, who is the leader for LSU, 30 points. And as well as another guard, Javonte Smart, had 27 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Great game by LSU. Couldn't quite get by Michigan. And Michigan had guard Eli Brooks score 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 7 assists. And as well as Hunter Dickinson in the middle had 12 points and 11 rebounds. And Chaundi Brown off the bench had 27 minutes, 21 points, and 3 rebounds as well. So Michigan still without one of their leading scorers in Livers. No word yet on if he can come back. I believe Coach Howard said he's still out indefinitely, so probably won't be there this coming game. But who knows about if they make the Final Four more. Maybe he can make a run back. They will be playing the winner of Florida State, the number 4 seed, or the number 5 seed, Colorado. That one kind of pulled away in the second half. Florida State's athleticism kind of took over Colorado. They won at 71-53. For Colorado, guard Deshaun Schwartz had 13.6 rebounds, 2 assists. And I mean, no one else really stood out. I guess McKinley Wright IV is one of their best players. I know he only had 10 points and 4 rebounds, shot 4-12 from the field. For Florida State, Anthony Polite had 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals. He was the big guy there. And then Raquan Gray had 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. Not a huge game from him. Only shot 2 of 8 from the field. Should be very interesting, and we'll talk about it in a bit. Florida State's athleticism and how that matches up against Michigan in the next round.
Yes, and that brings us to another matchup in the East, which was a Pac-12, and I'm not sure where Abilene Christian come from, but I do know they're from Texas.
Big South, maybe?
Big South, maybe? Okay. Yeah. Well, the final was UCLA 67 and Abilene Christian 47. So the little brother of Texas could not pull a second upset. No. Abilene Christian led by Corian Mason, a senior guard, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. And if that's your leading scorer, that's a little bit of an issue. UCLA led by their guy, Johnny Juzang, sophomore guard, Juzang, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. Derek, he sounds like he does it all. I'll never say that this is a team like they had in the 70s or even a team that they had in the 90s, but they're really talented, and I think they could still push forward here. So we'll see. They're ending up going to play the Alabama Crimson Tide, because the Crimson Tide no longer just like them as a football school, Derek. They put up 96 on Maryland, 96-77. And Maryland's star scorer was Aaron Wiggins. I wonder if he's any relation to Andrew Wiggins. Same letter.
No idea.
I don't know. Yeah, we will not find out either. He's a junior guard, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. For Alabama, they're led by Jaden Shackelford, sophomore guard, 21 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. And what do you say, Derek? You score 96 points, you're going to win a lot of games. So Alabama, the Crimson Tide, the Bruins, it's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm sure we'll talk about it in a little bit. But I think I'm going to kick it to you now for either the South or the Midwest.
Yep, let's move to the South region, where we have Baylor, the 1 seed, who took on the number 9 seed, Wisconsin. And again, another one that was kind of close throughout, but you never really thought that Wisconsin was going to win. 76-63, Baylor ended up winning. Demetric Trice had 12 points and 4 assists. And no one else really. I know Micah Potter is another big player that they have. He only had 10 points, 10 rebounds, 4 of 9 shooting. They couldn't quite match Baylor's athleticism. Jared Butler had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Davion Mitchell had 16 points and 8 assists. And then Matthew Meyer off the bench also had 17 points and 6 rebounds. It's going to be tough to find a team that can match Baylor's athleticism. Will that be the winner of the next game? The number 5 seed Villanova took on North Texas, the number 13 seed, who upset Purdue. And that game was not even close all the way through. They were leading by 20 at halftime, and Villanova ended up winning 84-61 over the Mean Green of North Texas. Javion Hamlet for North Texas had 25.6 rebounds and 4 assists. And also guard Mardrez McBride had 11 points and 3 rebounds and 3 assists. For Villanova, it's really been the Robinson Earl show. Jeremiah Robinson Earl had 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, as well as forward Jermaine Samuels had 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. It's all about the big men, which is, as we said, is very unusual for a Villanova team that usually see a lot of guards. It's all about the big men with no Gillespie in there, the best player for Villanova, who got injured. So it'll be a Baylor and Villanova matchup in the Sweet 16.
Derek, I was just thinking when you said about who could match up with Baylor, would it be interesting to see the Mobleys against Baylor? a USC Baylor matchup.
Yeah, is it going to get there though?
I know that's
tough.
the thing.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. We'll see, but just something to point out. We might see it in the Final Four or the national title game if that's what it could be. So we're going to stay in the South, and we're going to go to the number 3 Arkansas Razorbacks and the number 6 Texas Tech Red Raiders. The final score, Derek, in one of the really good games of the tournament was Arkansas edging out the Red Raiders 68-66. Texas Tech was powered by Terrence Schumann Jr., senior guard, 20 points, 3 rebounds. Arkansas led by Justin Smith, senior forward, 20 points, 6 rebounds. And Devontae Davis, freshman guard, 15 points. You're getting freshmen to score 15. That's a big thing. Arkansas, very talented. And I'm very intrigued with the next matchup because this is going to be an interesting Sweet 16 game, I think. It pitted the number 7 Florida Gators to take on the number 15 Oral Roberts. I don't know their nickname yet, Derek. Final score was another crazy game for Florida. It was 81-78. Oral Roberts picks up the second upset in the tournament, knocking off the Buckeyes, and now Florida. Florida's Trey Mann, who just declared eligible for the draft, by the way. I just saw that today.
Yeah.
Sophomore guard, 19.7 rebounds, 4 assists. Oral Roberts, Kevin O'Banior, who's a guy to watch out going forward. Junior forward, 28 points, 11 rebounds, 4 steals, Derek. And Max Abmas, sophomore guard, 26 points, 7 assists. Oral Roberts is for real. And I can't wait to talk about them in the Arkansas Razorbacks. It could be a very interesting matchup going forward, coming up.
And in our last region was the Midwest region, and that may have been where a lot of you guys had your brackets destroyed. And starting with this first game, which was, I believe, the first game of the afternoon, that pitted the number 1 seed Illinois against the number 8 seed Loyola of Chicago. And guess what? After all the talk we did about Illinois, they went down. The Loyola Chicago Ramblers won 71-58. Their starting center, Cameron Krutwig, had 19 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals, as well as 14 points from guard Lucas Williamson. They suffocated on defense, and Illinois kind of struggled. Kofi Coburn did score 21 points and 9 rebounds. Miller had 10 points, but I'll mention that Ayo Dosunmu only had 9 points and 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 turnovers, which is not good. I'll also mention Trent Frazier, who shot 1 of 10 from the field, 0 of 5 from 3-point. That's not going to cut it for the number 1 seed Illinois. So Loyola Chicago moving on to face Cade Cunningham and Oklahoma State, right? Wrong. Cade Cunningham and Oklahoma State went down to the red-hot Oregon State Beavers, 80-70. The number 12 seed took down the number 4 seed. Ethan Thompson is the leading scorer for Oregon State, 26 points and 7 rebounds, 15 of 16 from the free throw line. As well as we'll mention Jared Lucas, who had 15 points and 6 rebounds for Oklahoma State. Cade Cunningham had 24 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 steals, only shot 6 of 20 from the field. Avery Anderson III had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, only shot 3 of 12 from the field. So Oregon State and Loyola Chicago, just how everyone had it in the round of 16 to face off.
Can't make this stuff up, Derek. And then the number 11, Syracuse Orange, another team that probably should not be in the Sweet 16, but they're playing good, versus the number 3 West Virginia Mountaineers. Syracuse won a very close game, 75-72. West Virginia led by Sean McNeil, junior guard, 23 points, 3 assists, big game. But Buddy Boeheim, Coach Boeheim's son, junior guard, 25 points, 3 rebounds, and Merrick Dolajak, senior forward, 12 points, 6 rebounds. Syracuse was just too much, Derek, too much to handle for the West Virginia team. And I look for Syracuse to play very good against the next opponent in another close game, another 3-point game. The number 10 Rutgers Scarlet Knights fell to the number 2 Houston Cougars, 63-60. Rutgers led by Ron Harper Jr., who I think could be his father, could be Ron Harper.
He's correct. It is.
I thought so. Junior guard, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. For Houston, led by Quentin Grimes, junior guard, 22 points, 9 rebounds. Great job by Houston. We got a Houston-Syracuse matchup. And just for fans out there, and Derek, I don't know if you noticed this, we have 4 double-digit seeds in the final 16.
Yes.
We have Oregon State at 12, Syracuse at 11, UCLA at 11, and Oral Roberts at 15, Derek. Will one of those 4 make the Final Four? We're about to find out.
Well, let's talk about it real quick. Let's start in the West Division, Joe, where we have 2 matchups between Gonzaga and the number 1 seed and the number 5 seed Creighton, and then the number 6 seed USC and the number 7 seed Oregon play each other. The winners face off in the Elite 8. Joe, which of those are you more interested in, and do you want to dive into a little bit?
I think I'm more interested in USC and can they keep it going? The reason I say that is because I think I did say to you off the air, I think Gonzaga could struggle a little with Creighton, but I think Gonzaga, you said it, Teamy, Kispert, and Suggs are a tough 3, and who is going to be able to stop them? We're going to have to be able to find that out if it happens. I don't know. The Mobleys Evan and Isaiah Mobley are so interesting, and you don't hear a lot about them during the year because they're Pac-12 players, but the Pac-12 has shown up in this tournament. So I'd say I'm really interested in the USC Oregon matchup. They both know each other quite well. Derek, do we have anything on their games in the season? They had to meet
USC beat Oregon. I believe it was by about 12 points, something like that. That was in the beginning of the season. So I will say, I think I'm still debating which way I want to go because Oregon looked amazing against Iowa, who is no fluke. Iowa's been
they're so fast,
one of the best teams all season, and they made Iowa look so slow out there. Absolutely. And they don't really have a traditional big guy, Oregon. So that's why I feel like they'll I think it's one thing to go against Garza as long as you got, even if you have someone, I know they have someone who's about 6'5", 230, something like that, who can at least body up Garza a little bit. But the Mobley brothers and the guys on USC are so long and so physically tall. Right. I don't know if Oregon can play with them. The key is going to be the guard play for USC. I think if Oregon's guards, which are very fast, can drive them nuts, I think USC could struggle a little bit. But I think that length and athleticism for USC is just going to be a little too much, in my opinion. And as far as the Gonzaga Creighton game, I think you got to be very good defensively. Yeah. And I think you got to have some depth on your team because I know Gonzaga, at least one of the few issues they have is they only have like a 7-man rotation. So if you have some depth and you can get maybe some speed, then you can give them some trouble. I don't think that's Creighton. Creighton can shoot well, but that's about all they have going for them that I've seen watching them play.
Another thing probably to beat Gonzaga, and I don't know, I know they didn't lose, but BYU played them tough this year, I know, and probably St. Mary's, I wonder if it's also that you take them out of their game. If they miss shots, can you then go down and score? You that's a big part of basketball. You got
slowing the game down because they like a fast-paced game.
Right. So making it slow, getting in your half-court sets, maybe stealing some baskets on a fast break, but just getting into that half-court offense and really like strategically hitting your shots. Like, I mean, time after time, you got to put pressure on the Bulldogs. They're that good. I say it now. I've seen them a couple times now. They're legit. Like, this is a really good basketball team.
And I will say, I think I said this to you off air. If Oregon beats USC, I don't think Gonzaga has much of a problem with Oregon. If USC beats Oregon, I think USC could give them some trouble, because I don't know if people like Timmy and Kispert have, I mean, you can't really compare the big guys they faced against BYU to an Evan Mobley and his brother out there, who are just so long. And I think that could give I still think Gonzaga would win, but I think that could give them a little bit of trouble, because I think the guards for Gonzaga are better than the guards from USC. But I agree with don't be shocked if that ends up being an upset there. So as far as the East region, we have 1 seed Michigan against the 4 seed Florida State, and the 2 seeded Alabama against the 11 seeded UCLA. Let's start with probably the less interesting one first. Alabama and UCLA. Do we see UCLA keeping that a game, Joe? I don't know if you've gotten to see any. I know they played a lot of later games. Have you gotten to see UCLA yet this tournament? Or
I mean, highlights and stuff. Listen, I think UCLA is a really good team, but I think Juzang he really has to score a lot. I mean, he probably has to get like 37 instead of 17. He's their high scorer. I know there's other guys that can score, but you know, the one thing I'm going to say, it's not about UCLA. It's about, we're going to find out how good this Alabama team is. They hung 96 on a decent Maryland team.
Yeah, no, Maryland's not bad.
I mean, if they score in the 80s, Derek, it's a wrap. And their defense needs to be pretty good. They're a fast team. I know Coach Oates has been there for a couple years. He's a pretty good coach. Shackelford is definitely a guy to watch out for. Derek, I like the Crimson Tide here. I like Alabama in this game.
Yeah, I think Alabama moves on to Alabama doesn't have much of a post presence, but I don't think UCLA does either. So that there goes that potential positive. A good defensive team, I think, would make and fast team, I think, would make Alabama struggle too, because they rely heavily on the 3. I've definitely seen that so far. But if they're hitting them, they could beat anyone in this tournament. If you're putting some hands in the faces defensively and you got that length, they could struggle. Again, not something UCLA has, so I don't think they're going to have much trouble with UCLA. I think Alabama will win that one comfortably. What do we think about Michigan and Florida State? I will say, I actually have Florida State in anyone cares about my bracket. I actually have Florida State going to the Elite 8. Are they as talented as Florida State teams have passed? I don't think they are, but they seem to play pretty cohesively. They're very balanced. They're good. They have good guard play. They have good big men. Another team that has a lot of length and strength about them. I think that they could give Michigan some trouble. Someone to body Dickinson underneath their big freshmen and maybe give them a little bit of trouble, I think.
All right. So I've watched a lot of Florida State the last 5 to 6 years. And, you know, there's 2 constants with this team. Number one is Leonard Hamilton, their coach. Yes. He's a really good coach. Okay. He's instilled in them how to play defense. They love to get to the rim. They're very athletic. They turn out NBA guys. MJ Walker, I've been talking about him. He needs to have a big game. Raekwon Gray, as he highlighted, he's a good player. Listen, I don't know if this game's about Florida State. I think this game is about Michigan. And can guys like Wagner, the brother of Mo Wagner, it's escaping me. They have a really Eli Brooks, sorry. Mm-hmm. But Derek, what did you say earlier? You made a really good point. If Michigan gets to the Final Four, they might have Livers back.
Maybe.
Are they rallying around the fact that they get their leader back? He's their leader. There's no denying it. Florida State's going to pose problems. Can Michigan score enough and be able to hold Florida State down? I don't know. I kind of like the Noles here in an upset. I don't know. This could be it for the Big Ten.
I like Florida State too. And I think without Livers, he was really the one guy who could drive to the hole and give them that presence. Otherwise, it's really the guards shooting the threes and Dickinson underneath for his post play. There's not really that guy who can drive against anyone. And I think that's where their length is going to come into play for Florida State. And I think that's
he makes things happen. And you're right. And you know what, Derek? Maybe they're keeping under wraps. Maybe he's working out and nobody knows it.
Maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't say anything either.
If he's on the floor this weekend, they could move on. Livers makes Michigan go. I think we both know that. You know what? It's going to be a really good matchup, though. Another big football game, though.
In the South region, we have the 1-seeded Baylor, who's starting to come on a little bit, it seems like, and the number 5-seeded Villanova, who honestly
supposed to be here, Derek.
Exactly.
Question mark.
They were supposed to lose in the first round. Were they supposed to lose to North Texas? Then no, probably not. But
LJ right.
Very interesting. Without their best player still, they're a team that also seems to be rallying around, and maybe they needed to learn how to play without their best player, and now they're running through the big men. Robinson Earl is one of them who's putting up some big numbers, but the lack of guard play, Joe, I think is finally, it's one thing to beat Winthrop. It's one thing to beat North Texas, but beating Baylor is a whole nother animal. I think the guard play for Baylor is going to drive Villanova insane in this game. And I don't know.
The one thing I caught, and that's fair. The one thing I caught though was they have a brother at Villanova right now. He used to play for Villanova a couple of years ago.
Archie Diacono.
And I'm like, wait a minute, am I rewinding the tape or is this like live? Right. So watch for him to get better because his brother was a really good player. They don't have Mike Nardi. If you remember him from years ago, Mike Nardi, the point guard, the one guard. They don't have Jalen Brunson. You know that name.
Right.
Jalen Brunson. They don't have that type of guard. What would be interesting is the Villanova Michigan matchup because they seem to do it the same way, the big guys. Yeah. Listen, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, we highlight him, sophomore forward. Jermaine Samuels. This team sometimes can go as their forwards go, but they need to have big production from the guards to beat Baylor. Baylor's fast. Baylor's athletic. Baylor's been told all year that Gonzaga is the best team in the country. They want a shot at the Zags. So I think this is Baylor by 20, actually. I think Baylor's going to play a real, this could be ugly in a hurry too.
This next one should be very interesting between the number 3 seed Arkansas and the number 15 seed Oral Roberts. Am I correct that a 15 seed has never made it to the Elite Eight? I don't believe.
I don't think so.
So, man, now Arkansas, Joe, they're great offensively, right. But I haven't really seen it. I mean, they scored 85 against Colgate, and they scored 68 against Texas Tech is the defensive team, so they scored 68 there. It's not like Arkansas is playing amazingly well, and Oral Roberts is one of the best offensive teams in the country. Abmas, 24 a game. Obanor 18, but I think he's even playing even more than that. 28 in the last game. They're playing amazing. You can shoot, they can shoot. They're not scared. They're not going to be scared, Joe.
That's it. And you know what? If I'm the coaches for Arkansas, all I'm showing my kids from now till when they play is the tape of the Ohio State game. I keep showing them that tape. Because what's it going to hurt? Yeah, we want to play our game. I get it. But Oral Roberts has it in their heads mentally now that they're good enough to be here, Derek. and they are one step away from the Elite Eight, and crazier, they're 2 steps away from the Final Four. So Kathy Lee Gifford is the only real person that we know of that has gone to the school. So it's crazy itself. Listen, Arkansas, Oral Roberts, I love to tell you it's an Arkansas blowout, but I guess we're going to learn a lot from the Razorbacks in this game. Because I'll tell you, they start playing tight. They miss shots. The fans start getting crazy like Oral Roberts fans. You know,
all the pressure is on them.
A momentum game. Oh my, a 3 seed, and you're looking at a 15 seed.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, they're not a 15 seed. This is a really good basketball team.
I think it'll be close. I'm not going to pick a winner. I'm going to cop out. I think it's going to be very close. It could
go overtime too.
So real quick, let's run through the final region here. Illinois, Chicago, the number 8 seed, and the number 12 seed, Oregon State. Joe, I can't tell you what Oregon State is good at. I'm not sure it's anything that they're great at. It's just that they've gotten completely caught fire at the perfect time, and they're just running through these teams that Tennessee, Oklahoma State,
good teams too.
But I really don't see it. I really don't see. I watched most of that Loyola Chicago game.
They're good.
They are amazing defensively.
They love to play together too.
They really get in your face, and that Krutwick is so fun to watch. You look at him, you see this big goofy kid, his mustache, and Joe, you can tell he loves to play the game. He knows how to play the game right. I'm seeing him tap balls to players that normal people would not think to do. Like when he's up in the air and that guy's open. Let's just tap him the ball. It goes for these steals. He's a great player. And I think this one could be 15 points as well in favor of Loyola Chicago.
The only thing I'll say is Ethan Thompson for Oregon State scored 26. Yeah. He's a senior. He's a step away from the Elite Eight. Does he have a big game? Maybe. Who else steps up for Oregon State? I don't know other players right now off the top of my head. They did beat Cade Cunningham in Oklahoma State. That's a big win. Derek, does their run come to an end? I mean, Lucas Williamson, senior guard for Loyola. This is what the tournament's about. Sometimes it's a senior player that steps up and gets the job done. Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm not going to say 15. I'm going to say more like maybe 10-8. Like it's going to be closer. Okay. I think it's going to be closer. But I do think Loyola is going to win though, Derek.
And the last one we have is the number 11 seed Syracuse and the number 2 seed Houston. Joe, let's go to you first. What are your quick thoughts on it's very interesting. Doesn't it always seem, no matter what seed they are, Syracuse always seems to at least win 1 or 2 games in the March Madness. They never get bounced before they're supposed to.
Credit to Jim Boeheim. He's a great coach. His son is playing lights out basketball, hitting shots from God knows where. It wouldn't shock me if it's a half-court shot to win the game. It would not shock me. How about Christian Laettner the one year? Oh my God, this is going to be something. I don't know. I do think that sometimes a team is destined to go to the Final Four. It just might be Syracuse, Derek, because I'm going to tell you, Houston's a good team led by Quentin Grimes. I think he's a Kansas transfer, actually. I wanted to say that earlier and I forgot, but I think he's a Kansas transfer, Quentin Grimes. I want to say this right now. If Syracuse wins this game, I want to see Loyola win and go. I would be concerned because Jim Boeheim would be on the other sideline and he would somehow figure out how to corral the guards and do the 2-3 zone and his guys would score. Derek, Syracuse by 4 in a close one.
Houston is the number 2 defense in the country.
That's good.
And Syracuse is number 193.
That's not good.
But
what about offensively?
Offensively, Houston is 50, Syracuse is 70, so they're a little closer there.
Yeah, we need that.
But Joe, Houston has never seen a 2-3 defense.
Oh, there it is.
And I think that's part of the problem is most.
Yeah.
Okay, in the ACC, teams like Duke, North Carolina, Maryland, or not Maryland, Florida State,
Maryland before.
It used to be Maryland. Yeah. They've seen this 2-3 zone all the time, so they're going to play well against it sometimes. Teams that never have seen that before, they're going to struggle.
Yeah, and you're right.
I don't think that Houston is a great 3-point shooting team. But they're probably going to bet on getting a ton off, because that is the one thing in playing that 2-3 zone. They can get beat rebounding wise. So I think Houston will try to chuck up those threes, but try to get a lot of offensive rebounds as well. A major key, I think, is going to be Dijon Jaru, who is the guy who was playing with that hit pointer throughout the entire game. He is a very good wing defender, probably someone who would have been guarding someone like Boeheim. So if he's not able to play, I think this could turn to Syracuse and upset the number 2 seed. I would not be shocked. That 2-3 zone, they're playing very well right now, shooting the lights out.
Two things, and that was a very valid point. If I'm Houston, I would triangle in one Boeheim. I would follow him to the bathroom. Like, I don't care where he's going. Follow him to the popcorn stand.
Don't let him beat you.
Yeah, do not let him beat you. Whatever you do, Dolage and whoever else they have, don't let Buddy beat you. Now, that being said, if I'm Syracuse, I watch out for Grimes. He can score. He can pass. He's kind of like Livers. So be aware of Quentin Grimes. He's a really good player. So Grimes, Boeheim, what a matchup. Derek, that's going to be a good one on Saturday or Sunday.
Well, and I won't put you on the spot because I know you don't have the bracket in front of you, but Final Four.
Yes.
My picks. I'm gonna say Gonzaga. That's easy. I'm gonna say Baylor. I don't think either of those 3 teams give them issues. If I say Loyola, Chicago, and Syracuse, give me Loyola, Chicago. Give me a Loyola, Chicago, and Baylor matchup, and give me a Gonzaga. And now this could blow up because they could lose in the first or in the Sweet 16 here. But give me Florida State. Give me Florida State as well, playing Gonzaga.
I will give you mine. I will give that's good. I will say USC. I'm picking the Trojans over the Zags. I'm going with the Mobleys, Derek. I'm going with the Mobleys. I'm gonna say Bama because my dad picked them to go to the championship. So I'm gonna say Bama there. And even though I can actually still see Michigan in there too, but I'll go Bama. So Bama and USC meet, and then I say I'll go Baylor, but I'm going Syracuse, Derek. I'm going Syracuse.
Maybe.
Boeheim to the championship.
Let's see what happens, everyone. We'll see what happens. We will catch. The next time we'll be talking basketball will be after the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 games, as we said. So we'll catch again in the Final Four. We'll let you know, and we'll talk about the Final Four a little more in depth. But Joe, before we get going, any final thoughts?
Man, oh man, I didn't think I was going to love this tournament, but there's been so many great games, and it's just well deserved for all the committee, and just because we all have had a tough year with the COVID pandemic, and I'm just happy that we can talk about college basketball, and so happy it's a Sweet 16 and that it's happening. Just that it's happening. Yeah. Feel bad for the VCU kids and coaching staff. And just to look forward to, not to talk about it, but just to our listeners, we're going to go baseball for a while. So get ready. And and then college basketball will come back at. We're gonna be like a pinball. We're gonna go basketball,
back and forth.
So I love it. That's my life. So I'm all for it. So, but Derek, sign us off, my friend, because it was a fun show again tonight.
As always, everyone, you know the drill. I yelled at I didn't yell. I said it forcefully, but don't take it as yelling. Probably right below Joe's head there, you should see the subscribe button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Like the video so we know you enjoy what we're talking about. We're always on YouTube. We're always on all podcast platforms. If you want to listen there, follow the Facebook group, not the page. Follow the group. Go follow the group. As well as Twitter. We're ramping up on Twitter. We've been putting a couple things up recently. So follow us there as well. And email us, timeout, derekandjoe@gmail.com. As always, everyone, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to spend some time with us. Stay safe and take care.